Welcome back to All About the Game. I'm your host, Jason, and we're here on Mike Drop Sports. I appreciate you guys coming through as always. Thanks for stopping by. Today, we're going to have a quick episode and talk about an interview Kenny Pickett had just did on the Omaha Productions platform with Cam Hayward and his podcast. Cam and one of his buddies, they do a podcast. In case you haven't seen it, go over and check it out. There's always some good guests on there. So check that out. It's always pretty informative. But they were at a charity softball game for Cam at Washington Wild Things Stadium, and Kenny popped into the pod for a quick interview. They were doing a live session there, and Kenny popped in and he was talking a little bit with Cam about not being invited to his wedding. So Cam didn't get an invite, but Connor Hayward did. So I found that funny. But if I were Kenny, I'd have just invited the whole team. It's not like you don't have enough money for the plate, so everybody's gonna get food, guys. I mean, geez, boy, it's just crazy. But anyway, Kenny was getting his nuts busted about that by Cam, and Cam was bringing up some things about, hey, people are saying you don't like Matt Canada's offense, and you're not a fan of what's going down with Canada and the way he's doing things. But Kenny put that to bed and said, look, I like it. I think we have a good system going. I think we're making some progress. I think we've had a great off season, and I think things are starting to come together. And that comes from the franchise guy right now. Kenny is the franchise guy right now. So Kenny's telling everybody, hey, we're going to run the pistol. We're going to run the shotgun, but we are going to incorporate that Saturday type offense, the jet sweeps, those types of things. But I think they're going to be a little bit more versatile and keep people on their heels a little bit more. And I think Kenny has the ability right now to be able to utilize his legs a little bit while he's still in the younger part of his career, and be able to use those legs and be able to use all the tools God has given him and all the tools that Matt Canada has put around him. Matt Canada, Mike Tomlin, Omar Khan, all the weapons that he has at his disposal. And Kenny said, I like the offense. I like the direction. I like what they're going to utilize my talents and what I do best and what the people around me do best. So I like that. Gave me some optimism of where the offense is headed this offseason, and what Cam Hayward was asking Kenny was basically, hey, do you like it or do you don't? And Kenny said, look, I'm into it. And I know he has to say the most politically correct things. He's the franchise god. But hey, he's giving you a little insight. He really likes the offense. He likes the direction. But Cam asked him, who is going to take that year two leap in the offense that we may not be thinking of? And Kenny immediately said, without hesitation, Calvin Austin the third. And he was like, hey, this is a guy that we haven't got to see, but I think you guys are going to be pleased with what you're about to witness that he can do on this football field and what all he does for this football team. And that's coming from the starting quarterback. That's pretty big accolades. And that's something special that we should watch. If your starting quarterback has that much confidence in you and you've yet to even step on the football field in live action, there's something there. There's some chemistry there. Also, Cam had asked about his brother to Kenny. He said, hey, they were jacking around talking about Connor, and Connor came up and they talked about the moment in New Orleans when Connor scored his first NFL touchdown with a nice dime pass into the back of the end zone from Kenny Pickett. And it was one of the special plays of the season. And Kenny just told Cam, hey, Connor is special. We're always together off the field, in the tunnel. We're talking all the time. So they have that friendship role. But he said, hey, we got some big time chemistry and we're able to just play football. And that's what you have to be able to do. You have to be able to just play football. And Kenny said as much on that podcast. Connor and I have that special bond that we are able to just get out there and play football, and our chemistry is great. And that's two players right there that are very young that we should be watching out for, especially in training camp, because Cam was like, what do you think Connor's going to be? Where do you think he's going to play? And Kenny said, hey, he's going to play everywhere. He fits into all the position rooms. He fits into the running back room. He fits into that wide receiver, tight end room, so they're going to utilize Connor in so many different ways. And Kenny said, you should see a big year out of Connor Hayward, and he should really have a breakout season. And I'm super pleased to hear that, because Connor Hayward's becoming one of my favorite players really quickly for some reason. He's a quiet guy, goes about his business, and he produces when he's given the opportunity, and the lights don't seem too big for him also. So that gives me some hope for two young players that Kenny really likes, And Kenny was talking also about a guy named Allen Robinson, an offseason acquisition this year, a new wide receiver. He was saying, hey, how much he enjoys having Allen. And Cam was saying, where do you think, he fits into this wide receiver room? And Kenny was talking about the slot position, getting Allen Robinson in the slot, getting him on some different one-on-one matchups with some linebackers, maybe a safety or something, to where Allen has the chance and the ability to be able to win those one-on-ones, or be able to find that open hole when Kenny utilizes his legs and gets on the run and we move that pocket. So I think there's a lot of options right now for this Pittsburgh Steelers offense. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about why I think that this season should be special whenever Kenny is speaking. This is probably one of the better interviews this season that we've heard, this offseason that we've heard from Kenny Pickett, one of the most insightful. And it's given us a look into what we should expect and which players that we should really start to watch out for. So, and also he was talking too, before I close things up, he was talking about Deontay Johnson, and Cam said, hey, he had one touchdown last year, or no touchdowns last year, I'm sorry, 0 touchdowns last year. And how does that happen? And, what's the problem? And Kenny said, hey, that's a little bit of both sides. That's a little bit of Kenny. It's a little bit of Deontay. It's a little bit of circumstance and just how things happened, where Deontay had chances and he had one foot down in the end zone and just couldn't get that other foot down. And it was just, the luck didn't work out for him in some instances. However, the Steelers didn't scheme things correctly at times to get him the ball in the position to score a touchdown. So there's a lot of combination of factors there. And Kenny Pickett said Deontay Johnson should have a big bounce back year, and that they're working really hard. And him and Deontay, they're really starting to gel. They're really starting to get their chemistry together, and they've worked hard this offseason. And he said Deontay, just has kept his mouth shut kind of deal with Kenny, and just put his nose to the grindstone. Cam did ask, what about a receiver coming to you asking about the ball, wanting the ball, all that? Kenny says, I just tell him, yeah, I'll get you next time. I'll get you next time. The typical answer. These receivers got to learn, dude. Don't go to the quarterback and ask that, because you ain't going to probably get the ball if you keep hounding them and trying to get the football. Just let it go. Let it progress. Get that natural chemistry. Don't try to force things. You can't force things whenever you're dealing with a quarterback receiver relationship. You just got to let it grow organically. When you're putting these superstar teams together sometimes, and you get 3 big name wideouts or 2 big name wideouts, and you force that chemistry, and you force that cohesiveness, that just isn't going to happen because you're forcing it. And you see these teams that should be super good on paper that just aren't good because they're forcing it. They don't have the chemistry. They're not able to go out and play football. Like Kenny talked about with Connor Hayward, I'm able to go out there and be free and just play football. And that's what has to happen, guys. That's the biggest thing. And people got to watch for that at training camp. We're less than 2 weeks away. July 27th is rapidly approaching. We're about to see some real football and pads. And I hope to see you guys up in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. This is just a quick episode, and I wanted to drop it real quick. Just my thoughts on that podcast, just my thoughts on what Kenny is thinking for this season and what we're about to see as Steeler fans. And it should be special. I keep saying that, guys, but I just want you to pay attention to these camp battles and see what's going on in camp, because I think you're going to get a great insight into what's about to go down. And you're about to see that chemistry at work, and all this offseason hard work that they put in down in Florida with Kenny and his wide receivers and all his skilled players. You're about to see that chemistry, and you're about to see all the hard work come together and become something that we haven't seen in Pittsburgh in quite some time. And there was also on that podcast, Didi King Kabbalah, a reporter for ESPN and all those places. She got on there and she was Cam was saying something, and she said, I just want you guys to know, you Steeler fans, that Kenny Pickett is about to be the best thing that has happened to Pittsburgh in a very long time. That's encouraging. There's lots of people that are really talking good things about Kenny Pickett. Let's just see if it all works out. Let's just cross our fingers, and that's all you can do in this quarterback carousel in the NFL. You have to just cross your fingers, hope you get your guy, hope things work out, and that's just all you can do. So let's just wrap this podcast up, guys. Again, I'm Jason. I'm your host here on All About the Game. I appreciate you guys coming through. We're almost to the subscriber count that I want to get to start doing the live shows. I'm working on even more new equipment. I've been getting some in the mail. I'm learning how to use it, some new software, some things like that. So we're going to be stepping our game up big time, but I need you guys, the subscribers, the viewers, to step your game up too and subscribe to the channel. And if you're viewing this, I want you to subscribe because the ride is going to be amazing and we're going to get better and better. So get in on the ground floor, get into where you're at the start of something special. And I think we are, as a group here, all the subscribers, all the viewers, myself, I think we're really coming together as a good group. We have good conversation. Nobody gets too crazy in the comments, but yet we talk about the hard things too. People give their honest opinion, and I'm very appreciative of that. So let's keep doing those things. Let's keep pushing the channel forward. Keep sharing the channel. Keep watching, guys. Keep liking them. Keep watching them and sharing them to everybody you know, and encourage them to subscribe even. So the live shows are going to be super interactive too. So you guys that are steady commenters that are always on there commenting, I hope to see you guys and hear from you guys when we do these live shows because I really appreciate your thoughts and value your responses. So keep on watching Mike Drop Sports. Keep on watching the podcast All About the Game. We're going to keep delivering great content to you guys and real practical things. And we're not going to always talk about the numbers. We're going to talk about what feel like the feel of the game, not just necessarily stats. We're going to talk about the nuts and bolts of what makes things go. So keep on watching Mike Drop Sports, the podcast all about the game. I'm your host, Jason. Until next time, peace.